Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you everyone for joining us bright and early on a Saturday morning. I am very happy that you were able to make it. Even more kudos to those who attended last night's big party. I heard it was a great success and ended late. So again, thank you very much for joining. My name is Gideon Silverman. I'm the Managing Director of Venus Australia. Very excited about today's talk. And again, it's one that I'm pretty excited about. I think and I've been in the industry over a decade, and I think from what I've experienced in the past, this is quite unique in that what we'll learn today and the presentations and talks that you'll hear from our wonderful three speakers. The idea is, and actually I'll start with the title, Results and Money, You Can Have Both. And it's a bit of a one that's out there. I was actually giving the credit to our sales manager, Blake Williams, but it actually goes to Dr. Christie, who came up with this, and it sort of nails exactly what it is that this presentation will be covering today. The premise of the talk is, covers Tribella, which is the original three modality treatment protocol, includes IPL for your multiple number of indications that you're treating. So from your reds and your browns via IPL to Diamond Polar, which is our skin tightening, finishing off with nanofractional skin resurfacing. So that's a little bit of a context. We're not going to be talking about that. If you want to understand more about Tribella and the treatment protocol, please come and see the team, where our new branding, Venus, is at the end, so you can come and talk and understand that a little bit more in depth. You can ask Dr. Christie as well. But today is about understanding the business, sort of looking at your business from a holistic approach and taking different aspects of how you get the most return on your investment, whether it be a Venus device or any device that you're implementing into your business, and how you can tailor that with how are you going to finance that. We actually have Tim from TLC here today, who's assisted many of our clients with their financing. We've got the wonderful speakers who I'll introduce at each stage as well, who bring the marketing, the business coaching, mentoring aspect to getting the most out of you as a business owner and your team, and making sure that they are living up to the goals and the aims of the business and providing the best service to your clients. So I don't want to go on too much, but again, thank you very much for joining us this morning. I'm going to pass it off to Dr. Christie, and I'll let you introduce yourself with a little bit more detail.
Thank you. Hi again, thank you everybody for coming this morning. So my name's Christy Costales. I am a doctor, and I have a large clinic on the mid-north coast of New South Wales in Port Macquarie. So welcome to our presentation. Results and money. How are you going to get both? So I guess, part of what I want to talk to you about is what is motivating you as a human being. So before we get into all of this, why are you here? Not here, but why are you in cosmetics? What made you go into cosmetics? What motivates you to get up in the morning? What is your passion? What are you exchanging your time for? Are you a nurse? Are you sick of working in the public system? Are you a doctor and you're just, diversifying your income streams? Are you really passionate about your patients? Do you just want really good outcomes for your patients? I think that's really important. We give people confidence, we empower them. There's a lot of medical benefits, there's aesthetic benefits. Was it a lifestyle choice? Are you doing cosmetics because it's better than some of the other jobs out there that we can do in healthcare? I know that's a big factor for me. 3, do you just like the fact that you might be making better money? We're all hustling, right? We all have to pay our bills. Is there another reason? I guess what I'm trying to say is the common denominator is we're always exchanging our time for a unit of something. So what are you exchanging your time for? Are you exchanging it for your patient outcomes, your lifestyle choices, your money? Is it all of the above? This is a really important thing to know about why you do what you do, because that's going to influence the decisions that you make for your business and the decisions that you make for yourself. So on that note, maybe not. Okay, let's talk about money. Okay, we're all working, right? That's why we're here. We all have clinics. We're all hustling. And I actually really resent the fact that when we talk about money in healthcare, there's that negative connotation to that, and that people think, oh, you're here for the patients. You're here for patients, and you want to help people. If we wanted to work for free, we'd be working for Médecins Sans Frontières somewhere overseas in a ditch. Okay, that would be great, but that's not what we're doing. We're working. We want to get paid well for our time. Right? So I love helping people. That is definitely a fringe benefit of the work that I do, but that is not my only motivator for going to work. So if I'm going to spend time not with my family, not just hanging out watching Netflix, then I want to make sure that that unit that I'm exchanging my time for is the best possible unit that I can get. So the point of these presentations is to show you that you can have all the things. You can hustle, you can get paid really well, and you can get really good patient outcomes. I meant to say that, just as a disclosure, I'm not getting paid by Venus to say this. To be fair, having realized how early it was, I'm thinking I should have asked them to pay me. But I'm here to tell you this because it's what I believe in, and it's because what I'm passionate about, because it really worked for me. And between myself and Neil and Alicia, we're going to show you just how well my business did with this model and with this machine. And I'm just here to share the love because I really like the machine and I really like spreading my passion. So thank you for listening. Okay, so basically we're here to get paid, right? We're here to get paid. What's it got to do with Venus? Just buy a Tribella. Like, to be totally fair, I've done the hard work for you. I have gone to the stalls. I have talked to all the people. I've done all the business plans, and I'm going to shortcut all of that for you. You're so welcome. Just buy this machine. You're going to get paid really well, and the patients are going to get really good results. So that was what was really valuable to me as well. So a little bit about my journey. My clinic has 3 doctors, 1 nurse, 3 dermal therapists. We're a pretty busy clinic. We were offering a lot of lower grade skin services, and we were really looking to just sort of upgrade what we were doing. And it's confusing, right? Like if you're at this point of your business where you're thinking, oh, I need to upgrade. I need to provide something else for my patients. What can I do that's going to make me competitive? But what's going to work? What am I going to invest my money in that's going to come back to me? Because that's really scary when you're the business owner and you've got to find a loan, or you've got to buy a really expensive piece of equipment, and then you're thinking, oh gosh, well, that's not the right one. What if I don't get patient outcomes? What if I'm just throwing my money away? It's a lot. I thought about it for a really long time. And so I think that, the moral of what I'm going to tell you is that this is a really solid investment. Just buy it. I'm going to show you why you want this. And yes, like I said, don't bother doing all the legwork. I've done it. I took the leap. No regrets. So I know that Gideon touched on this very briefly, but what was a Tribella? It's a 3-in-1 machine. It does lots of fancy things, really strong IPL, it does skin tightening, and it also does resurfacing. But more importantly, does it fucking work? Does it work? Yeah, it really works. So we want to get paid well for our time, right? But nobody wants a cranky patient. Nobody wants a patient who didn't get the outcome that they wanted, right? They're the ones you're trying to get rid of. So whenever you're investing in anything, you're always thinking, but what's the patient response going to be? Because you can make all the money in the world, but if your patients are out there telling you that they don't like the results that you're giving them, or that they've paid too much money, that's never worth the money. Like in that moment, that pain in the ass patient, you would pay someone to take them away. So what I want to reassure you about this was you're going to get paid really well for your investment, and you don't need to worry about what the patients are going to say, because they're going to be really bloody happy. And I think that's the best combination anyone can ask for in this industry. Outcomes, hustling. So I'm just going to quickly show you some photos from my own clinic. By the way, that's my clinic logo. Find me on Instagram. It's Dr. Christy Port Aesthetics, because I'm funny as shit, but also because that's the best way to ask me any questions, actually. Okay, my button is so slow, it doesn't want to show you. There we go. Okay, this is one Tribella. So this is one before and after. I think we can all appreciate the massive reduction in lines that this lady's got. A lot of my demographic is a little bit older, but this is certainly a machine that works on pretty much all age groups. You can do more than one, that is the recommendation. So I'm just giving you the one results. Oh, this clicker is There we go. Another before and after, you can see that glow in her skin. Look at the results that she's getting. I'm just going to put it out there. We take good clinical photography. I'm sick of seeing shitty photos on Instagram where the befores and afters don't look anything like one another, different angles, different lighting. Our photos are very precise, so these are real results. Obviously, I'm not filtering anything. Look how less those fine lines are. I'm sorry, who the hell doesn't want that? This is what I mean. Like, I've not had one patient, we've done hundreds, I've not had one patient come back to me and tell me that they didn't think that that was a really good investment of their money. And I am charging them. Another one, fine line reduction. Look how much better the skin is. Moral of the story is the shit works. This patient actually only had the nanofrac component of it because you can pull different parts of the machine out. You don't have to do all three. This was a patient who'd been getting Botox around the eyes for a very long time, but you can see how much better those fine lines are after one nanofrac. The one thing I will say is I've also tried all the things. I think it's really difficult to recommend something to a patient unless you've tried it yourself. And there's a lot of machines that do lots of different things. My pain rating, like, I'm a wuss. I'm like a 0 out of 5 is my level for pain tolerance. This is an extremely comfortable process. So the nanofrac component of this is pretty much painless. So again, you can have the best machine in the world, you can get the best outcomes, but if it hurts your patient, they will not come back. So what I love also about the Tribella is how well tolerated it is. Everyone's happy to come back for a second or a third if they need it, but these have all been after just one. This one was an amazing result. We took like 10 years off her face, easy. So moral of the story is you're gonna get the results. So I'm telling you that you don't need to worry about that component. If you're gonna invest in this machine, tick, it's gonna be fine. You're gonna get your outcomes. We've been loving it. It's been very well received for all of our patients. So basically, like, what motivated me inherently, like, why did I buy the machine? I'm gonna be really honest, I find all the machine stuff really complicated. I find the stalls complicated. I find listening to people tell me about why I should buy their machine really complicated. And I think it makes you a little bit jaded because you just think they're trying to sell you something. And you're like, well, how much of what they're telling me is true? And how much of that is actually just a sales pitch? They are salespeople, I totally understand that. I really like the Venus team. I've dealt with a lot of people, and sometimes you buy machines and just no one gets back to you, something breaks, you don't hear from anybody. So then you have that stress of an investment that you're chasing to try and, get help with it or get replacement parts even, or not with Venus. I loved their team. One of the things that I think is really hard to find in this industry sometimes is integrity. And I first met the Venus team at NSS last year, and I was talking to them, and in NSS you have to go out and you have to scan all the codes and you can win a prize, right? So like this lady was out to win the fucking prize because it was a Dyson Airwrap, and I'm like, I'm gonna get it. And so I swung by this, I'm like, look, I'm just here to scan the thing, like leave me alone, I'm trying to win a prize. And the team said to me, we'll buy you a bloody Dyson Airwrap, just sit down and talk to us. And I went, oh yeah, okay. Anyway, I sat down, talked to them. I was really impressed with the way that they spoke because it was honest, it was really honest. I decided to buy the machine anyway, and fucking hell, 3 weeks later, an Airwrap turned up at my clinic. Now you cannot tell me that that is not integrity. I actually was not ever gonna hold them to that. I just thought it was a joke. So I think it's also really important to know that if you do go into a partnership with Venus, you're going to get a lot of support, and they're a bunch of really awesome human beings, and nothing's too much trouble for them. So I really loved that part of it. From a patient perspective, I had a lot of patients, a lot of lower skin services that we were offering. I was trying to leg myself up more into that dermatology grade service, which is absolutely what this machine is doing. A lot of mature age women, so we got a lot of full face rejuvenation from this, but again, you can pull components out. It's excellent for just acne. People with acne scars or rosacea, like it will get rid of pores, they become non-existent. So moral of the story is these guys won't bullshit you, they'll tell you the truth, they'll deliver everything that they said they're gonna deliver, and maybe even a Dyson Airwrap. So how did it go? So I'm actually gonna let the rest of my team sort of hand over to you just how successful I was with this machine. 1,000% it paid for itself. Like, I think if you're looking at a couple of years return on investment, you consider that to be quite good for an expensive piece of machinery. 12 months. 12 months and it's money for jam now. Happy patients, getting paid really well, really good team support. The support program that came along with this machine was amazing. To be fair, kind of thought I was already okay at marketing. I learned a lot. That made a huge component of our success. So again, I'm going to hand over to Alicia and Neil to tell you what that involves. But the moral of the story is solid investment, 5 out of 5, highly recommend. not being paid to say that. Please come and find me at the stall afterwards if you want to ask me any questions. Flick me a question on Instagram. Results, money, yay, you can have both. Thanks.
Thank you very much. I forgot to mention she's got a PhD in explicit language. So if you have any questions around, please ask Dr. Christie. We can maybe leave that at the end or come up and talk to her about her business, about her experience with Tribella specifically if you want to. The next two guests are the ones that have helped Christie and have helped many of our clients already. We offer a partner program, which is a number of different external suppliers depending on if you require a device, how are you going to best utilize or get the return of investment. So Alicia Hagen from Peach Media is here to talk and did the collaboration with Dr. Christie and has helped many of our clients. She's helped Venus Concept as well, and looking forward to hearing Alicia. So please welcome Alicia Hagen.
All right, good morning. Well done for getting up so early on a Saturday. Today, I hope one of the reasons you're here is to learn the exact funnel steps that we helped generate $148,000 worth of Tribella sales for Dr. Christie. So before I jump into that, I'll tell you a little bit about myself, just so you understand why you're even listening to me. I am a digital marketing specialist and have specialised in the health, beauty, and medical and aesthetic industry for 15 years. I do work with some major brands that have multi-million-dollar budgets, but also work with smaller independent sole traders that have $20 a day spend. But the process is realistically the same. So all you need is a good sales funnel strategy. So you can get them coming in with their first interaction right up until they book with you and rebook. So hands up who currently is using a funnel strategy at the moment in their business. Good job. So you should all get your notepad down, start writing some things down so you can take these home and implement them in your business and clinic today. So a funnel strategy is probably something you've heard thrown around a little bit, but realistically it is just a fancy term for typically a 4-stage process. And that process is from awareness right down to purchase. And really the purpose of a funnel is just so you have touch points in your business that you can optimize and reflect on and see where customers are dropping out so you can improve your business and your conversion rates. So here is a lovely diagram of what a sales funnel generally looks like. So the largest portion of a sales funnel is awareness. So not every single person that is going to see your ad is obviously going to end up booking. That's just the nature of advertising. But the start of the funnel is where you're going to advertise to your clients. They're going to see you on Instagram, see you on TikTok, Facebook, and you're going to pique their interest about your service or your business. The second stage is interest, and that's really where you start qualifying and nurturing leads. Next is the desire and the decision process. So that's when you start sending them remarketing things, SMSs, before they start booking, encouraging them to finally take action. And that could be booking a demo with you, a consult, and actually paying for the service. So what does that look like in real life? This is the exact funnel process that we've fine-tuned over the years. And Dr. Christie was the first one that we've really implemented this seamlessly in. And it looks a little bit confusing, so we will go through each stage of this process after this slide. So I'm a little bit far away to point to things. But the first section at the top left is the Facebook and Instagram ads. So that's where you're going to really pique their interest and get them to submit their details in a lead form. Once they do that, they go over into a CRM and they're tagged as a lead, added to a list, and then that automatically triggers email and SMS automation. So we try and take as much of the legwork away from you as possible with some touch points, and we're always directing them to your online booking system because that's the end result. You want them in your clinic. And then if they don't book then they get tagged into the remarketing funnel, and then we hit them with a whole bunch of different ads. Again, pushing them into Messenger, because people that haven't rebooked on the first interaction with your clinic probably need a little bit more nurturing. And again, pushing them from Messenger into your booking system, and then booking the patch test, and then they get tagged as a booking. So this is the digital marketing ads that they will see from a cold audience. So if you can take away anything from today, it'll be a bit of a strategy about how this works. So we do a whole selection of different ads because we target different people. So we've got two things broken down. So the number one audience is people that potentially are using lower grade treatments like skin needling and not really getting the results that they want. So there you're trying to upsell them into a Tribella treatment and just calling out their pain points, why you need more than skin needling. Because sometimes they can be like, oh, I'm already doing stuff and it's not working. So the ad talks to the pain points about that and encourages them to learn more, what other options there are. The second target audience are people that are potentially a little bit older, maybe into luxury brands because they have a higher price point and are possibly considering something like a facelift. And then this strategy is trying to downsell them into saying potentially try the Tribella as an alternative to a facelift. So we don't use terms like Tribella, IPL, RF, because the average person doesn't really understand that term. So to us in the industry, it's a really normal everyday term that we understand, but someone that wants to book in your clinic, they don't understand that. They understand that they've got sagging, they understand that they've got fine wrinkles, they understand they just want to look better. So that's what you try and do in your ads. If you get a bit too technical, which is not technical for us, but is technical to an average person, they'll just keep scrolling. So number one, when you're creating your ad, is the creative. So you're always thinking about the psychology of people using your platform. All they're on social media for is for FOMO, to see what their friends and family are doing. They're not there to be sold to. So if your ad is a bit too in their face, too much text, not engaging enough, they'll just keep scrolling. So the copy needs to be engaging enough to get them to stop the scroll. That's really the only use for the creative, just to stop the scroll. Then they will read the headline. So they read the image, then the headline, and the headline needs to be enticing enough to get them to read the copy. And then when they read the copy needs to be enticing enough for them to click lead form and hand over their very precious personal details. Australians, we do not like handing over our personal details, so you need to have a good offer or something that's attractive enough for them to do that. Okay. So even in the lead form again needs to be enticing because they can still click, yes, I want more information, but then the next step is that they're actually handing over that information. So we find that the conversion rate is better with a lead generation form rather than sending to them a custom landing page. Facebook will charge you less because they don't want people going to external websites. So you'll get charged more, so your ads will be more expensive. If you're keeping them within the platform, it's cheaper. And also their details are generally pre-filled. They can change them if they're different, but they pull it from their data. So again, there's a less barrier to actually typing in their details, and you get a higher conversion rate. Again, each lead form has two different lead forms. So you've got why you need more than skin needling for that target audience. Then you've got the second one about learn more about non-surgical facelift, done in 60 minutes. So again, that's enticing enough. And then they just follow on. And the final book your free patch test is there. So you won't get a super high conversion rate on people booking when they send a lead form. But we still include that because that's the end result. We always want to redirect them to your booking page. Once they submit their lead, they're automatically triggered in a CRM as a lead, adding a tag, push into opportunities. And we've just launched a CRM that you can see on the right there, that when they first come in, they go into the column that says a new lead, and then you can track them through the sales process now. So you can see when they get their first SMS, when they respond to the email. You can add in extra columns, like if you want to get your staff to follow up with an actual phone call, then they move across the sales funnel and then move across to a booking. CRM is a customer relationship management system. So it's really just a way that you can track where your customers are in the buying journey, and it allows your staff to go into the system. And if there's any downtime, you can go, hey, look, go to the people that haven't responded to a phone call or a text message and give them a phone call or send them a text message. So you're always utilising any downtime in your clinic to try and convert leads. When they do enter the CRM or the email automation, they'll get sent out a custom email that's branded to your clinic, encouraging them to click the download more button, and they get a custom ebook and also a text message. Again, going back to your booking system. So always focusing on the end result. And this is the ebook that you get. So it's always rebranded for your clinic with your images. New clinics obviously don't have before and after images. So we will put them in for you thanks to Venus. We have rights to use some really incredible before and after images. And it just goes through easy to understand language about the Tribella, just so they feel more comfortable in the process, understanding what they're going into, and understanding the high value in the treatment. Then once they don't book, they get remarketed to. So they get kind of tagged as someone that's had interest in the treatment, but haven't actually gotten to the stage of booking. So in the remarketing, this is where you're really nurturing your leads. And we add in lots of images of you in the clinic. Dr. Christie is super easy to work with because she's hilarious on social media and has heaps of content for us to repurpose. Using images of seeing their faces. Again, marketing is psychology. So surprisingly, if they see an image of you on social media and then they go into the clinic, and it's like immediate authority thing. So if they see your face on social media and they go into the clinic, it just promotes that, oh yeah, this is the person that I saw on social media, creates immediate bond. So that's why we really want your face to be out there. I know some of you will hate that, but it works. So if you take away anything today, is just challenge yourself to at least 3 times a week, do a little video of you talking about a treatment, and just get out there, because people buy from who they know, like, and trust. So if your clinic and your social media is a bit faceless, go back today and have a little review and see how often your face is on social media. If it's hardly ever, make it a challenge to put your face out there, and it will make it much easier to convert leads. So again, even have a stalk of Dr. Christie's socials. She does kill it, and she gets really, really good organic traction, because if you don't get good interaction with your social media, you'll get no push out from from Facebook or Instagram. They'll be like, people don't want to see what you're doing. But if you can start getting some good interaction, you'll get free advertising pretty much. So we've got the single image, someone doing the treatment, and then just a bit of fun, because Dr. Christie's clinic is a fun, happy environment, and that's the feel she wants to put out there. Not all clinics want that vibe, and that's totally fine. We work with you what your vibe is, but that's the remarketing. We really want your face to be in their face as much as possible. In the messenger automation, again, we set up a sequence so we can take away some of that manual process for you, and then you'll see that they, when they press, yes, I want to chat to you about the treatment, I've got more questions, then it comes up with a few pre-filled questions that we can help answer, and then again, the clinic will get notified that someone wants to have a bit more of a chat. And these were the results for Dr. Christie. So with that campaign, she had 107 new leads, so it's about $4.12 per new lead into your clinic. And out of that, we had 62 bookings. The top of funnel had a click-through rate of 8.5%. Industry-wide, if you can get 2% click-through rate on your ads, that's good. That sounds really tiny, but if anyone's run ads before, if you can get 2%, you're doing good. So getting 8.5 is a super good indication that your clients want this treatment. They want a non-surgical face, they want better results than skin needling. So it's a really, really good indication that that's what people are looking for, and that's what people are seeking. So that gave Christie, from the start of ads up until last week, $148,000 worth of Tribella treatments. That's not all her treatments in clinic, that's just Tribella. However, I do really want to indicate that Christie is incredible at upselling and closing. So we can send you 107 new leads, and if you're rubbish at closing them or following up or nurturing them, you're not going to get sales. You need to be able to close. That's why it's incredible. I don't know there's any other device company that does it that also pulls in sales training, and that's what Neil will go over with you as well shortly, because that is the final piece to the puzzle. You can have as many new leads as you like into your clinic, but if you don't know how to close, you don't know how to upsell, you don't know how to follow them up, you're not going to make sales. If that all seemed like an incredible amount of work and a bit overwhelming to set that up for your clinic, don't worry. When you do buy Tribella, Venus will support you by funding the entire funnel build from scratch, customised to your business, including 30 days of advertising to help you get clients through the door, and also sales training with Neil that he'll talk about a bit more next. If you have any questions, obviously ask me at the end of the session, or you can book one of the free digital marketing blueprint and audit sessions. That's just for people that showed up today. So feel free to scan that if you like, or go to mintpeachmedia.com.au, and you can see at the top there's a COSMEDICON special at the top. But yeah, any questions you have at the end, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. I was just going to say, Christy mentioned before she won't offer or advise a certain treatment if she hasn't done it herself. And I think certainly that rings true a lot of the time. And I'll apply it to this as well. You know, we won't put forward partners who we haven't, had good conversations with, or done business with ourselves. So I can say that, Venus has worked with Alicia and has worked with Neil within our own business and organisation, and we've had great results. Neil with our sales team has done some incredible work, and Alicia's helped us with our social. I know social media can be quite daunting. I hate it. I don't understand it at times. So instead, and this is one thing, is you can invest in the technology, brilliant, but also invest in these wonderful human beings here and their business, because it just means that otherwise it takes you out of your business, what you're really good at in medicine and what you're providing. Allow someone like these guys who can give you the professional services and knowledge to take your business to the next level. So I think what you said, Alicia, about Neil is spot on. You can get the leads, but you need the assistance to convert. And a lot of people just don't have that ability or the confidence to do that. And I think that's where Neil from the Sales Catalyst comes in and provides that awareness and structure and knowledge to your team. So please welcome Neil to the stage.
Thanks, kiddo. Good morning, everybody. Bright and early, lovely to see you here. It's interesting we talk about generating leads. A lot of us, I believe, have the skill or have high quality people who generate leads for them. So as an industry, do we actually have a lead generation issue? Well, I believe not. I believe we have a conversion issue. Yes? How do we actually convert those? And that's what I want to talk to you about. By way of introduction, I've had the pleasure of working with quite a few brands over the years. This is about 100 brands up there, many of them you will know. Very pleased to say that over 50% of those are skin, beauty or aesthetic, and of late I've been specialising more in the high-end clinic, the aesthetic clinic, and also the doctor-led businesses as well. I was in a meeting with Blake and Gidon a little while ago now, and they asked me a question. And what we were debating was, how can Venus as a company add value to you as a clinic business? Sure, got a great device, but what happens after that? What happens beyond that? And well, that's where the question really begged. And I have to say to you that, of course, I'm an industry trainer. So, I've said, yes, the addition of industry-based training to the installation of a device will increase the amount of money that hits your pocket. Impact. Set that up earlier, it was okay. But seriously, how can we do this? How many times have you heard of a clinic buying a device only to have the latest and the greatest device, but not necessarily the greatest bank account to go with it? I've visited many clinics where they take me to an old treatment room and they open it up and here's all the old devices. And 9 times out of 10, it's because we can't cross-sell it. We can't introduce these treatments. So I said, look, hey, I've got the perfect program. And it's a program that I've been running for quite a while. It's called Spendsuasion. And the guys went, okay, tell me a little bit about it. And I said, well, we've had over 1,600 participants over the last 7 years. And we've worked with over 100 brands and we've had some fantastic results. Generally, our results are we get a 50% increase in the upsell, or the add-on, or as we call it, the upgrade. We get a 20 to 30% increase in the cross-sell, your ability to introduce a new device, take a client from A treatment to B treatment, the greatest challenge we all have, isn't it? Okay, so we have some tremendous skills there, and we use some languaging around the words entitled, and it really makes that shift really well. And then there's the side benefit of actually improving retail, and we don't talk about retail, we talk about how to accelerate our clients' results at home. And wow, doesn't that make a difference? So this is how the Spendsuasion program came together, and I said to the guys, look, this really works, this really works. And in true form, guess what they said to me? Prove it. It's like, oh, okay, I like these guys. I like these guys. This is cool. So what we decided to do is we decided to test and measure in true research form, to present to you and to present to other Venus clients facts that you can make decisions on. And we wanted to support the introduction of a device along with some persuasion training. I don't believe in selling. Selling's crass. Selling's push. Persuasion is all about asking and all about leaving breadcrumbs for people to follow. And the difference it makes is huge. We agreed on a defined period and we agreed to openly, and very openly, thanks to Dr. Christie, make everything very transparent and measure very clearly what the results were. So the second step was then to look at it from a patient's point of view, which is where I came in. See, I believe over the last couple of years, in particular post-pandemic, patients' expectations have changed. Remember before pandemic, we used to all talk about customer service, wasn't it? That was the big thing, wasn't it? Customer service. Well, today it's changed, and there is a plethora of research out there at the moment, especially internationally, talking about the power of the client or the customer experience. Client, patient, guest, whatever term you want to use, they are our customers, aren't they? So it's the client experience today that is more impactful. So what's the difference? What's the difference between customer service and this other term, CX, which is called the client experience? Well, very simply, it's this. In the old days, and I say the old days, a few years ago, customer service is all about what we offer. It's all about you. It's what we want the team to do. It's what we want us to do. And it mainly impacts when the client visits the clinic. Well, the client experience is far beyond that. It starts when they start searching or even maybe seeing your first lot of social media posts, or they start experiencing your brand for the first time. It permeates right through the whole pre-booking, pre-clinic visit, through the clinic visit, and more importantly, out the other side, which is where we all know we get referrals. So the client experience is far, far greater today, and we need to broaden our view to offer not only consistency, but true brand appeal to our target audience. Now, here's the amazing thing. Out of all of the research that's coming out internationally, there is one behaviour that is defining customer experience. And it's the language that is used during that conversation. The language appears to be one of the major drivers. Well, let's be frank. If you go to a really beautiful upmarket restaurant, or you go to buy a car, or you go to any other luxury experience, have you noticed that the tone and the style of the language is very smooth? There's no speed bumps, there's no awkwardness, there's no ums, there's no ahs. There is nothing but a consistent style of communication. And Foster in particular, consulting, pulled out some really powerful research and have said very clearly that when companies prioritise the customer experience, they measured 1.6 times higher brand awareness, 1.5 times higher employee satisfaction, 1.7 times greater customer retention. Isn't that the major point for us? 1.9 return on spend. Oh, I like that. I'm a money person. And 1.6 higher levels of customer satisfaction. Zendex went on to also say that 87% of respondents claimed greater customer experience influenced them. American Express said they don't mind spending up to 17% more to get a positive experience. And Price Waterhouse claim that people will pay anywhere from 13 to 18% higher when there is a great customer experience involved. So who would like a 18% increase in revenue? Thank you. Yeah. Isn't it powerful? So here's the gold. The gold is that today, 89% of companies believe that they compete primarily on the customer experience, up just 36% from 2010. 80% of companies believe they deliver superior customer experience. However, unfortunately, only 80% of your customers agree. Not your customers, this is worldwide, this is global research. So there's a huge gap. There is a huge gap from the client's point of view, not from yours, but from the client's point of view, to have a greater client experience. And language is the key. Wow. There is a huge opportunity for growth laying right in front of us, and all we need to do is make some subtle changes. So how did we do this? Because, by the way, this is exactly what we did with Dr. Christie's business. First thing we did is we focused on improving the clinic language. And we did that through talking about different methods of consultation, how to listen. Oh, by the way, most people listen with the intent to interrupt, don't you? Ha. Well, guess what? Most people like to be heard. The quickest way to build trust is to listen to people. Quickest way to build trust is to listen. So people who feel they are being heard feel trusted. Wow. We focused on the client experience, and more importantly, we focused on lifting the client revenue. So how did we do it? Very simply, we instigated a 4-week program which has 4 modules to it. And those modules are 90 minutes a week, once a week for 4 weeks. I'm not a magician, but I tell you what, we can get some huge results just in that 4-week program. We focus on the model of Spendsuasion, and I explain and teach that particular model as our starting point. We then talk about the 9 steps of an in-clinic experience, because, by the way, there are the right times to introduce and there are the wrong times to suggest. And once you get to understand that, your conversions really start to lift. We talk about how we can have tools in our tool bag, because I don't want to change what you're doing, I want to add to what you're doing, how to improve the client experience and how to upgrade their experience. And by the way, we teach you how to handle no. Very simple. How to handle no is so much easier when you get to understand this particular model. It is so simple. And there's 4 particular methods we also teach for how to reach agreement with a patient. Because there are some, believe it or not, some standard approaches. Now, this is not scripting, by the way. This is methodology. So your personality comes to the fore. So what were some of the outcomes of delivering this particular program? Can we go back a slide? Thank you. First and foremost, improved client experience. Christy, yes? Yep. Notable improvement in the clinician to patient communication. This was a really big one. Greater understanding of the patient's wants and desires. Buying signals helped identify which patients were ready and how to help them make a decision. We had a tremendously successful introduction of the Tribella device. We increased the average client spend, and show me the money, we increased the clinic revenue. So let's look at some numbers. Firstly, the Tribella device went into the clinic in the beginning of July. With 120 days, we generated just shy of $100,000 worth of incremental, e.g. extra, income into Dr. Christie's practice. Is that a good number? Come on, you know what devices are like. Okay, normally most people struggle to get to 40K in that time frame. We knocked it out of the park because we focused on a coordinated approach across the whole team. We focused on bringing in marketing, we focused on generating leads, and more importantly, we made it easy for clients to buy. There's the gold.
What were the hours the machine was running?
Oh, look, please, that would be probably a Dr. Christie question. And
Depending on whether you're doing face, neck or chest, or just face independently. So face independently for all 3 zones. I did give my girls a little bit of extra time in the beginning because there is that learning process. Round about 60 minutes. I increased it to around about 90 minutes for all 3 zones. So the machine just worked all the time, to be fair. We also instituted a 30-minute free consultation process prior to the actual treatment because you need to be able to talk the patient through what are they expecting. You know, you can't expect someone to come and drop $2,000 with no preamble, and that's what we were charging them. So effectively, they were given a 30-minute consult on a separate day, and that really allowed them to be familiar with what was going to happen, and then on the day, it was just treatment and out within 60 or 90 minutes, depending on all 3 zones. Obviously, we focused on that upgrade to all 3 zones, because you'd be crazy to like spend $1,500 on your face and not be able to upsell them the extra $500 to do these other zones when we know this is such a neglected zone for the patients anyway. So our aim was always like, if they're coming in to get something done, they're getting all the zones. Like, it's so easy to sell all the zones, and that's a much better use of therapist time as well.
And was it operating every day?
Every day.
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I've got therapists on 5 days a week, and so which are the one machine, obviously, so it would just bounce between whoever had the booking. Yeah.
Okay. The other magical thing about, while we went into the clinic and we focused specifically on helping convert those inquiries to Tribella, the program also had an overwash experience into the retail side of Dr. Christie's business, and that part of the business grew by 39.3% between the commencement and the peak of the particular program, which was a nice side benefit. I'm sure we'd all like 39% increase in your retail side of your business. The other thing that was also really encouraging to notice was that patient retention ran at 97.3% and rebooking at 87.3% during the period of measurement. But here's the amazing piece: 4 team members ran at 100% retention and 100% rebooking during the measurement period. Now that's a pretty impressive result. Really is. So show me the money. How did it really impact on the whole business? Well, here's the before and the after revenue. And when we look at the benchmark, which was the May-June period, and then measure it against the last 3 months of the September-October period, we had an increase of 33.1% increase in revenue. Additional income above and beyond what the clinic was tracking at only a couple of months earlier. Who would like a 30-odd% increase in your revenue? Yeah, absolutely. So it is achievable when you put together a coordinated approach rather than a spray and pray. Let's push it out there and let's hope we get some clients. Here we took a very methodical approach. We chose a really high-quality clinic, the dedicated team led by a fantastic doctor. We added to that a really professional marketing approach and generated some huge leads. But more importantly, we taught the team what to say and how to say it and how to engage. And these results, I think, speak for themselves. You know, just shy of $100,000 in extra revenue from this one device in just on 120 days. Retail was a side benefit, 39%, and overall clinic growth, 33%. So the question begs, did we add value? Let's go back to the initial question. Well, as I said, we've picked 3 critical pieces, and I know many of you in the room would also be part of this by having a very professional clinic and adding a new and high quality device. However, I must take a moment just to stress, if you haven't got a professional team doing your social marketing or social media and looking at running advertising and looking at setting up a proper funnel, do yourself a favour. It's a very small cost for the impact a professional approach can have. Versus, I'll inconsistently do a couple of posts and then we don't measure how many leads we get. Then we don't measure what sort of impact. So people like me come along and go, oh, so what are you doing? How can I help you improve? And, oh, I don't know how many leads we got last month. See, you can only manage it if you can measure it. And more importantly, in the piece that I really want to acknowledge Venus for here, is they took on board the need to help people improve their languaging skills within the practice. And for that in itself created a huge impact. So the final question is, yes, we added value. And I think you would agree, yes? We added value in this project. And this project, by the way, is something that can be done by each and every one of you. Now, I understand my languaging program and Spendsuasion and shifting to persuasion rather than that old tell approach can be difficult for some. So don't hesitate to reach out. If you want to come and visit the stand today, I'll be here for most of the day. Oh, and by the way, this is the slide you should be taking a photograph of. If you want to book a free consult where you can just have a chat and ask some more questions of me, I'm very happy to extend that to members that have joined our program this morning. So with that, I simply wanted just to say, guys, show me the money. It's there if you want it. Thank you.
The title. So thank you, Christy, for that. I think it's really important that when you are looking at a device, hopefully one of ours, that you're looking at it from a holistic approach. You've got to look at firstly the finance, how are you going to buy it? And I think that's where I mentioned Tim from TLC. He provides commercial finance, but he also provides patient finance. And actually that's something that's really unique in this industry. When you are starting to charge clients $2,000 treatments, how are they going to fund that? So that's something that actually Tim is quite, what he offers is very unique. So do chat to Tim. He's English, but that's okay. But, beyond that holistic approach of how are you going to get that return, how are you going to grow your business, how are you going to grow the revenue in your business, takes on many different factors. And I think that's where working with these guys, and proof is in the pudding of the numbers that you've seen today, really impacts your top line at the end of the day. And we work, and I like what you say, Christy. It's a unit of how do you measure what do you say? Your time. Yeah. So I think...
What are you selling your time for? Like, we're all selling our time for something. Like, maybe it's money, time with your family, whatever it is. But if you're going to take your time away from something that you really love, family, holidays, traveling, Netflix, whatever it is, oh God, make it worth your while, right? Like, life is short. Life is short. Just use your time really wisely. And if we've got to pay our bills, let's pay them. Let's really pay them.
Yeah, so I think that's key. Do we have any questions from the audience? Take this opportunity to ask these guys any questions.
Hit me up with anything. Literally, I have no filter and I will tell you all my things. I've already given you all my financial data for free. I'm just going to leg on, even though no one's asked a question, I'm not going to miss an opportunity to talk. I'm just going to leg on to what Neil was saying, that with the program that he put in with my staff, like, I genuinely thought that we were pretty good at closing a sell. Like, I've got a motivated team. I pay them really well. If you had asked me before this program, did I think they were, pretty good hustlers? I'd have told you abso-fucking-lutely they were. We learned so much from Neil, like just the way that you use the words, just the way that you lead the patient through the consultation. And like, I love that we sold the heck out of the Tribella, but a 30% increase in product sales. Like, product sales is what pays your rent for you when no one else is, we know the patients come back, they buy their products over and over and over again. So if nothing else, just even that side benefit for my business of being involved with these guys was just it was wonderful. And, we are kind of going probably into a mild financial downturn over the next 12 to 18 months. So you really need to be focusing on these. And if you are going to buy a device and you're going to get this, like, happy days, because you need to draw that money out of your clients so that you can pay your bills, right? Because we need to increase their spend, because it's going to be a little bit harder to do that in the next 12 to 18 months without some help. And if you're just out there fumbling around like I was, doing pretty bad TikToks, like, I'm telling you, this is a much better way of doing it. Like, it really works.
Just by way of adding, if I could please, to the numbers, you may have seen what Alicia put up there as far as the number of leads. 167, I think, was the inbound. 107. Christy's team had a conversion rate of just shy of 60%. 6 of every 10 inquiries converted to a treatment. Normally, when I go into a clinic, their conversion rate's running less than 20%. Normally 5, if they're measuring it. Most people don't, but they normally run between 5 and 7. So rather than having sales managers answering the desk, you've actually got sales murderers answering the phone. You're pushing clients away because you're managing them incorrectly. You're languaging. It's all about you rather than about the patient. That's the bottom line. And that's the shift we go through. But my point is, these conversions are worth it when you have someone as good as this to generate them for you in the first place. Does that make sense? Okay? So just think how many leads, get someone to track how many inbound, I don't care where they're coming from, whether it's a walk-in, whether it's a phone, whether it's a web, whatever, track how many leads you are getting in a week, and also measure how many of those are committing to a consult or treatment. If it is below 20%, please pick up the phone. Go to my website, do something. You are losing money. To get it over 50% is not difficult. I have a couple of clients who are running at 80. Very specialised, very niche, very specific treatment proposition. I think Christy's business will only continue to grow, but just under shy of 60% is a huge number and a really tremendous result from your team, Christy.
Fantastic. Any more questions? No? I think we're, at the end of the day, we're all... Oh, sorry. Yes.
We're just about to open our clinic. I just wanted to know for the machine, how much do you, at the beginning, when the patients come in, I know it's going to be expensive. What is your strategy, and how much is the package which you present to them?
For me personally, okay, it depends on the patient face, to be fair. Look, lessons have been learned. This is a really powerful machine. Like, when you're talking about this machine, you're going to be saying to the patient, this is an upgrade. This is an excellent service. We're going to give you a fucking full face rejuvenation, right? Just give me all your fucking money. Sorry, I'm really unprofessional. I have 5 degrees in medicine and a PhD in swearing, and I will use it. If you get a patient in who's extremely sun damaged, so this is actually what I love about the machine as well, is that you can sell them your ancillary services prior to selling them the Tribella. So if you're going to get somebody and they've got a significant pigment load and they are like so sun damaged, you're actually going to sell them some microneedling. You're going to sell them some simple things first, because you actually want them to do a little bit of skin prep work before you whack them with the machine this powerful, right? So what you're going to get is you're going to get this native client in, and they're not going to know you. You have no relationship with them, and you're like, oh God, your face, right? So then you're going to go, what am I going to do for this patient? So you're going to sell them all of your really simple things, and you're going to draw them in, and you're going to go, let's start with something simple. Let me give you a consultation. Let's have a look at your skin assessment. All right, I'm not sure if you're ready to be upgraded into this level of service. This is for our patients who are very dedicated to their skin. These kind of results, we only give those to the people who have excellent commitment to their skin. What can we do to get you there? And you're going to sell them 3 dermapens, you're going to sell them a lactic acid peel, you're getting them started on their products, right? And in that process where you are beginning these simple things, you're going to build that relationship with the patient because they're going to spend time with you, they're going to get familiar with your clinic, they're going to come in. No one's going to walk into a brand new clinic or have a brand new patient relationship and drop $2,000, right? Well, very rarely, and certainly not where I come from. So what you're going to do is you're going to draw them in, you're going to sell them the simple things first, you're going to give them some product. These are all valid things. Let's all be really clear that we are not selling snake oil, right? We are performing medicine. Nurse, doctor, doesn't matter, you're performing medicine. The ethos of medicine is beneficence and non-maleficence and patient autonomy, right? We're not here to do shitty things to patients. All the things that I am suggesting are things that absolutely work, right? So you can take the ethics part out of it because the ethics has already been spoken for. Absolutely, you should not be recommending something that's not appropriate for the patient, that's not financially within their means. You still have to be a good human. I'm just saying that you can be a really good human and you can pay your fucking bills. So if you've got a new clinic, 100% I would be starting. You want to go out there going, I got the best, but my range of service goes from here to here. Oh, you're not quite there. Let me just drag you through this process with the simple things. Let me build that relationship with you. And then 6 months into the relationship, you're going to be like, try Bella, you need 2. And they're not even going to question it, right? Because they've built that relationship with you. Our conversion comes from the fact that we build patient relationships because we genuinely do care about our patients. And I live in a small town, and if you even have one person out there talking smack about you, everyone's going to find out about it. I can't go to the grocery shop without running into 18 people who think they know me. So your reputation is the only currency that you have in the work that you do. So if you perform poor work, if you perform work that doesn't make people's faces look good, and we've all seen that, right? That is a really bad brand advertisement for you. So you really want to be building that client relationship, and then you don't have to sell them anything. They come to my office and they're like, what do you think? I'm like, you need to get this. They're like, cool. And they go out and they book it. So just build that relationship, but you need that spectrum of services. So start with the simple stuff and then leg them up into a Tribella. That was like a $2 answer to your 5-cent question, so you're welcome. Yeah.
That's the final slide. A very, very big thank you to our 3 guest speakers today. Without them, we wouldn't have this data. Certainly without Christy, we wouldn't have this data, and opening her clinic and her finances to the team has enabled us to present this today. And I think it's something that's really important to share. So thank you again for your time, and to Alicia and Neil for their time this morning, an early start, but they've been fantastic to work with. Please talk to them. They are very easy to talk to. If you're not sure about anything around what they've said, have a conversation. Pretty easy. You don't have to commit to anything. It just starts with a simple chat and hello. But on that note, please, if you want to know more about the device, the sales team, there's Blake, our National Sales Manager. We've got Joel, Dane, and Lachlan over there here today. We're very male heavy today, but we do have a good mix. I promise you that. Come and join us. But thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the conference today, and enjoy. Take care.